Welcome to week 201 of my renovation here on Iris Street. This week is all about the mechanicals in the new garage wood shop, some of which you can see behind me. Let's get cracking. With all the framing completed last week, I can turn to the mechanicals in the wood shop. I learned with the rest of the house that there's an order of operations that makes life easier. First framing, then plumbing, then electrical. Since I'll be installing a utility sink and a mini split, I need plumbing lines for each. But first, I have to move these tools out of the way. I start with the mini split, unboxing it so I can be sure where my mechanical holes need to be. This mini split has an outdoor condenser unit, which means I'll need to bore a 4-inch hole through my cinder blocks and bricks. I've had to bore so many holes through the bricks that I should have bought a coring drill from the start. This cheap Verver unit from Amazon cost $136, which actually pays for itself after just 2 Home Depot tool rentals. Anyways, this would have been rental number 5, so you can do the math for yourself. Buying one was definitely the way to go. I was a little worried about breaking my arm with this drill because it doesn't have a clutch for the bit if it catches, but it cut like butter and this hole turned out really nice. After washing down the bricks, I'm done with the first hole. Back inside, I mark and drill the hole for a 1.5-inch PVC drain line. This will be the drain for the utility sink, which will drain into the basement line used by the kitchen sink upstairs. On Monday, I drill a hole through this joist so I can pass the drain line through to the basement. There will be a mechanical soffit against this west wall, so I can start snaking this drain line down below the joists. This will have a dual advantage of providing access if I ever need it in the future, while also keeping the joists strong because I won't have to drill any holes through them. After cutting the existing sink drain line, I install a double wide to accept 2 additional inputs. The left will facilitate the garage sink, while the right will accommodate a sink in the basement bar. Both of those sinks will take advantage of a sewage ejection pump to get drain water to a height where gravity can take over and do the rest. Hopefully, they'll work well because the alternative was cutting up tons of concrete and burying new drain lines in the ground, which was absolutely out of the question, mainly because I'm getting lazy and tired of cutting up concrete. In the garage, I start connecting the rest of the utility sink drain line. You'll notice it goes up into the attic, across the joists, around a 90-degree corner, where it finally drops to the location of the sink. I'm cutting custom risers every 16 inches to ensure a proper 1/4-inch drop per foot as is required by code for all drain lines. Before I close this up, I'll wrap the drain with insulation, even though I don't see any problems with this drain line freezing up. Next, I drill 2 holes on the east end of the garage for the PEX hot and cold supply lines. It's times like these where PEX really shines. I can bend these lines easily into the basement to connect them to existing supply runs. Then, I can snake them up and around this door frame to their final destination. I could have ran these lines up and into the attic and then back down again, and it probably would have been easier, but I wanted them in the walls because the garage will be heated and this will prevent them from freezing. Not that it would be a problem if they did though, because, it's PEX, and PEX is awesome like that. Down in the basement, I finish out the night by setting up this new Park Tool bike stand. My friend Ari recommended it to me, and it's going to make servicing my bike chains a breeze. That's a wrap for week 201. Thanks for tuning in, and until next week, get out there and do something awesome with PEX.